Hi everybody, my name is Pranav Khanna and I'm very excited here today to be with Prabir to be talking about all things Web3 and the opportunities, the potential that it has for the Global South. Prabir.
Hi Pranav, nice to meet you after a long time.
Absolutely.
TRSTO1 is getting aligned with what is going to be the bigger thing on the climate side. 2019-2020, we did a quite good research looking into what blockchain can solve. See the one word, immutability, address everything on the ecosystem, be it on a food, be it on a seed, be it on a education, everything that requires a authentication, that requires a provenance, that requires a trust.
Prabir, it's been very interesting to see how you started off from being a VC to really coming into becoming an entrepreneur. And like yourself, I actually come in from a business background. I've been fortunate enough to be part of some amazing initiatives. I have been part of a crypto exchange. I have been part of India's first circular fashion platform called CAIF. I've also been fortunate enough to be working with Lakme Fashion Week for their circular design challenge. My journey all along was around sustainability. But then it also, because of these crypto blockchain experiences that I had, the opportunities that I had, I found myself for a short period being the co-founder of a plastic traceability and transparency solution.
Pranav, from sustainability to climate to Web3, how is your transition?
If you look at climate change, it's around sustainability. If you look at circular economy, that's still around sustainability, right? What I've realized is that as an ecosystem, right, we have just run out of options. We have extracted far too much in a very short period of time and we are suffering. Extractive economic system just didn't work.
Addressing the climate action, putting those data sets in blockchain and addressing the complete traceability. And we started creating one product and which is end-to-end is connected through a blockchain ultimately.
So one aspect is the technology part of it, right? How it makes certain actions which were not earlier possible. And then the regulatory aspect, which is like a key driver for this entire industry.
We started with addressing the transparency issue on the supply chain and how we can address those data points.
Right.
Now you look at the supply chain, the bigger part of the supply chain footprint, carbon footprint, is nobody is taking the responsibility. I'll just give you a simple example of tire industry. Tire industry is dependent on the rubber. Now, when you talk about the rubber, how sustainably you are producing the rubber without damaging the forest. That's the traceability what the rubber industry needs. Right now, we have got the technology because we have done the complete traceability. You have to just connect the dots. So one side you are addressing the sustainability issue of that particular industry. Other side you are also measuring the upstream carbon footprint.
I love the way you have laid it out in the sense that traceability and transparency is actually like a requirement for businesses. Now, by doing that, you now suddenly have the opportunity to map out the entire carbon footprint of the supply chain. And it's my fundamental belief that once you start measuring things, you can improve things.
Let me tell you, the recent CDP report says this 11.4x of the carbon footprint or the supply chain footprint, carbon footprint we are creating through upstream or downstream.
Yeah.
It's not getting reported because nobody is taking care. Just around 7 to 8% or around 8.5% is getting reported. So balance 92%
is not getting reported at all.
The moment you put the supply chain traceability, be it upstream, downstream, you know that a product, how much carbon footprint that is created. You know that you have a cup of coffee, you know that how much is the carbon footprint is getting generated. That's the bigger part of the awareness is getting created when people like me and you will be responsible.
And consumers are also consuming responsibly, thereby putting more pressure on companies to get their act together and do the right thing. Behavior change. I love that. There is a carbon tax just about to come into play. Right? One is the financial reporting aspect of it, and the other this challenge or the non-tariff barrier of a carbon tax if you don't really have your supply chain mapped out.
If you do a compulsion, then they will just go for a kind of a formalities of reporting. But again, if you do some sort of incentivization, yes, the reporting standards are going to get improved. So that's the objective of the government should be for the financial reporting. The Gen Z is more concerned, more knowledgeable than the previous generation. Okay, that's how the things are evolving. That's evolution is happening. But I hope that it will be in next couple of years when you know that how much carbon footprint you are creating when you drink that fizzy drink, drink that cup of tea, cup of coffee. When you take a flight from Hyderabad to Dubai, is there a way to mitigate that? Hypothetical situation, you buy a product, there's a QR code, you say that, okay, I'm consuming this product, let me offset this my carbon guilt.
Right.
Just scan it, buy that 8 kgs of carbon sequestration, and that money is going to get benefited who is doing on that climate action. That is possible when you talk about the Web3 technology parallel. Your technology is giving you to fractionalize those kind of a carbon credit. The whole ecosystem is going to get rejuvenated. And that's the way I think the future is going to drive.
When you talk about all of the major registries working with carbon credits or are doing work in this space, who have always worked around 1 metric ton of carbon. It's never been available to do a fraction of that particular 1 metric ton. So Web3 brings this very interesting value proposition, right? And I could potentially offset my footprint, which was never available earlier. There is also the opportunity for me as an individual to buy a fraction of that carbon offset. So today, how you have a credit score, maybe there's an opportunity for somebody to have this particular footprint score, right? Where how much percentage of your individual life's carbon footprint are you sequestering or offsetting, and maybe you get certain benefits.
I think the way we can put it like this, we are doing a kind of a democratization of decarbonization using decentralized technology.
That's a lot of Ds. Two very interesting forces at play out here. One, of course, is the push from regulatory authorities across the world, right? Governments who are looking at climate change as the biggest challenge to all of us as a species. So the governments are pushing organizations, right? Entities, corporations, and themselves to do reporting, to do measurement, reporting, and verification. But then on the other hand, we have this pull from the consumer, people who are becoming more conscious about their carbon footprint. People who are entrepreneurs, who are looking at this as another huge opportunity in order to build in the climate action space.
That's why the government is also pushing the bigger awareness on the climate, how it should be a part of the curriculum. Also, the second thing is that we have got the prevailing technology, blockchain. Whether blockchain also can be a part of the education. We talk about that awareness. Awareness will come when people get involved.
And on that positive note, we'll close off here. Thank you so much for being part of this conversation, and we look forward to talking to you next time.
Thank you, Pranav. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next episode.